Hello, and welcome back to the DROD 2024 Deadlies showcase. Today, we're starting DROD RPG with A Test of Intelligence by Az. Path of Enlightenment. This level is only to get you used to the basics. So I think this is going to be another Az tutorial hold. We did do DROD Architects Edition tutorial previously. You can move Tundra in the 4 cardinal non-diagonal directions using keys on your numeric keypad by default on desktop computers. Diagonal moving in 2 compass directions at once. Movement also exists, which will be demonstrated next. Okay, so I am not supposed to use diagonal movement until it tells me I can. Diagonal movement is also done on the numeric keypad by default. Desktop computers. Bumping into a monster will have you start fighting it. If you're unsorted, the monster will attack first always, and for whoever is getting damaged, lose health by calculating the attacker's attack points minus the target's defense points. Once someone goes below 1 health point, they die. Yep. So that's just kind of the main thing. I'm assuming everybody watching this will be familiar with DROD RPG. If not, familiar with DROD, but this is a very different type of game. It's still a puzzle game, but DROD RPG is more about... let's get off the scroll. More about calculating your stats versus the enemy's stats. And then as you can see, expected damage 60. Plus 1 attack for faster win. So it's really about making choices in terms of how you manage your health, which is your primary resource, and then managing your other resources and your stats in order to basically decrease the amount of health of damage that you're taking every time you fight a monster. You can right-click on a monster to determine exactly how much damage you will take after you kill it. As you can probably guess, if the damage greater than your current health, that means you should not fight the monster, period, as it will kill you before you defeat it. Yep. We defeated that, we took 60 damage, we got 2 Greckles, 2 reputation. Alright. I'm not expecting this to be overly difficult as a hold, so I'll just kind of... Yeah, and as you can see, no choices at all. So we're just gonna go along the path and see what we get out of this. And you're awarded 2 coins called Greckles, and 2 reputation points. Yep, each monster that comes built in the game provide exactly the same amount of Greckles and reputation points when killed. True. If you want to make custom monsters, you can change that. There are also some circumstances under which that will change, such as having a lucky coin as an accessory, which will double the amount of Greckles that you get from killing things. You can save your games and load save games. Now would be a perfect time too. I don't feel like it would be all that hard to get back here if my game crashed or if I made some bad choices, so I'm not going to bother. What was that? Hotkeys for saves, that's good stuff to know. Yeah. Deciduous dilemmas, sure. From this point onward, we trust you're capable of making your own decisions wisely. Okay, so yeah, this is what this more tends to break down to, is now I get to choose whether or not I want to fight these roaches. So for example, this medium health potion gives me 50 health, but I take 60 damage to get it. Probably not worth it. This... yeah, I take 60 damage to get 200. That is a profit. But if my attack was 1 higher, I would take even less damage, and so this would become even more profitable. And in fact, if my health was 1 higher, I believe I would be taking 48 damage from a roach. Oh no, maybe 50. I'm thinking of something else. Okay. Yeah, because 10 times 6 with plus 1, I think it would go down to 10 times 5, so still not profitable. What do the scrolls have to say about this? You can save and load any time. Yep. Quick saving is very useful in this game because you often want to save before committing to something and then go down a path and explore as much stuff as you can to figure out what you're going to do. But it's very much a game about getting knowledge as well. Like, this is a profit, but there's no reason I would do this before going south because I want to see if there's an attack gem or something in the next room. For every monster you fight, yes, you always deal damage, etc. Calculated. Health potions, yep. More monsters than just roaches. The mechanics for fighting are always the same. But, yeah, every monster has different stats and different rewards. So these give 3 Greckles and 3 Reputation, but take 140 damage, and I need 2 more attack to get a faster attack on them. So 140, definitely not worth it. None of these monsters are really worth it. Yeah, you can right-click on potions. There are 3 different amounts. They come preset values. There's also a score multiplier, so this will affect... We're currently at ×1, so a medium potion is worth 50, but if we were at a ×2 multiplier, and this is usually set per level, these would be worth 100. Multiplier doesn't affect monster stats unless you're doing some really weird scripting. Greckle gates will only open when you have enough Greckles, and will subtract exactly 10 Greckles, although there's a exception related to multiplier. Right, so Greckle gates are 10, but they become 20 at a ×2 multiplier, and so on, although those can be also custom set. Okay, well, it looks like I need 30 Greckles in order to get anywhere, so I might as well... yeah, I can also fast travel if you hold control, and then hit south in this case. I go to the closest south exit, so this can be very useful for getting around quickly through explored rooms. Alright, well that seemed like the best option. So I need... I'm just gonna grab everything that's a profit, I guess. Which I think is this. 140 for 200. That's it. Alright, so now I need to just kill as many of the roaches on medium potions as I can until I get enough Greckles. This might be possible to optimize further than this, but I don't know what's down the stairs. So I'm just gonna do the thing that's in front of me for now. Alright, so that was all of those. Now, when it comes to the small potions, this is going to cost me 60 health for 15, so it costs me 45. This costs me 90. Alright, but they did give 3 Greckles, so I'm probably going to want to do at least 1 Wraithwing. And then 2 more roaches if I can. There are 2 more roaches, okay. And that will be the most effective way. I think this is optimal for the maximum amount of health I can have at this stage in the game. In the stage of the level. 20, 30, I am 4. Dilemma's defeated. Score 85, 100% optimal, yep. So this is how scoring works. Unlike in traditional DROD where every single room is scored by how many moves you take, in this case, you're scored, well, you have a score. And the score is calculated by multiplying a bunch of things like health, attack, defense, and your keys that you're holding are each worth different amounts of points. And so increasing stats and not spending keys will increase your score. Taking damage will cost you points. And there is a formula. It's been a while since I've played RPG, so I don't quite remember. I do know it's every 40 health is 1 point, and every yellow key is 10. So generally that's the exchange rate you're looking at for score there. If you're spending a yellow key to avoid spending 400 health, that is an even trade in terms of score. So that's a thing. And then greens are 20, blue and skeleton are 30. Attack and defense, I don't remember offhand what the ratios are for those. I want to say attack is worth 5 points per attack, and defense is 3 or 4. I don't actually know. Pendry, the stabbing sensation. Alright, we got ourselves a sword. Alright, so another thing to consider. There is no backtracking in this hold. I don't have stairs going back up. So those potions I left behind are now gone. That's not something I would have known until I came down here. That's another reason why you might want to save and load. Because if I was down here... now, in that case, unless I really need those Greckles from those Wraithwings, there's not really any reason to grab that health. So we'll see. When you step on the wooden sword, you'll be able to attack first rather than the monsters, yeah. Q and W to rotate your sword, just like in regular DROD. Known as a crumbly wall. Is that really what it's called? Broken wall, yeah, what I thought. People call them crumbly walls, though. That's just kind of a thing. A lot of people in the community do that. I guess crumbly wall refers to both broken wall and secret wall. Alright, so I don't really have a choice. I have to fight 2 more roaches here. Get plus 10 attack. I can put the sword back down. So now that I have a sword, I can do this. And... oh, that's actually a very good thing to know. So, good scroll. You can hit the plus key, and this will just give you a summary of every enemy in the current room. And this even works if you're previewing a room on the map. You can check all the enemies in that room. So yeah, as you can see, because my attack went up by 10, the expected damage on the roach went way down. On top of that, I also attack before the roach now. So it says expected damage 20. Actually, I can demonstrate this. So I should go to 290, but if I bump the roach, I went to 280, because the roach hit me first. But just did an undo there. If I put my sword over it, I get the first hit. So that's cool. However, I mean, that is a health profit, but it would be more of a health profit if I had more attack. So let's not grab it just yet. But if we get to a point where we can exit the level, I will grab it before exiting. Orbs can open doors, but you have to hit them with the sword. I'm left-clicking the orb. Right-clicking the orb actually doesn't do anything. It just tells you the coordinates. So actually it's left-clicking the orb to see what it does, I think. Oh, right-clicking also works. Interesting. Huh. Didn't know that. So left-clicking or right-clicking gives you both the coordinates and the details. Interesting. So anyway, they're both toggles, so I can get through. Blue means always open. Sure. That can be considered blue. Also, on the map, yellow means that there's a treasure I left behind, like an item of some sort. Blue means that there are closed doors. The white room has no treasure or closed doors. Treasure, I think, takes precedence over doors. Okay, I can't read the scroll remotely. Red is always closed. You figure out the mini puzzle here. Yeah, you have to strike it on a very specific spot. Okay, yeah. I strike it here, and then I can get out. However, that would end the level, and there's no way back, so that confirms for sure. Okay, yeah, so no known path north. That confirms for sure that I want to clear this level and grab that potion before I move on, because I cannot come back. Trapdoors act like normal floor unless you have a sword, in which case they drop into the pit. True. Red doors will open when all trapdoors in a room are dropped. It will. You are on a large hull. Okay. So I do need 10 Greckles to get out, so I actually have to fight these. If I had killed those 2 Wraithwings on the previous level, I wouldn't have to. So I could potentially get to a point where I'm going to need those Greckles and I'm going to have to start over. And that is the thing about DROD RPG. It's because you're optimizing over the course of an entire level set. You might actually end up in a position where you really... Turns out you did in fact need those Greckles, and then you have to start over in order to kill those Wraithwings. In this case, I have assumed that the health is more valuable than the Greckles, in part because the health is worth points and the Greckles aren't. Having success. This should be 100 again, because there weren't actually any choices to make. Aside from taking more damage for Greckles. The attack value that you get from the sword also contributes to your score. Under pressure. Pressure plates and their interactions. Yep. Pressure plates will trigger doors when stepped on or off. Again, right-click on a plate to see exactly how it affects the doors. Codes are the same as for doors. Yep. So here we go. And I am through. Right-click on a plate to see what it does. Yep. If this one opens, I can just grab this for free. I will assume that I can do that. There are some cases in DROD RPG where you take damage based on the percentage of your current health, and that makes optimizing a lot more annoying. Looks like there's not a whole lot to do here, though. I just have to kill a bunch of roaches and get through. Okay. Can I figure out what to do here? Well, I think what I'm doing here is I'm killing all the roaches, which gives me 20 Greckles, which is enough for 2 Greckle Gates. No score. Okay. Key to success. Alright, usable keys and walking on doors. More key stuff. Yellow keys allow you to, well, key stuff at all. Open doors without needing pressure plates or orbs. You will lose a key. You bump a door, yep. Keys that match the color of the door are needed to open them. Red doors can be opened with keys. Cannot be opened because there are no red keys, right? So you have to use the trapdoors for that. Same with black doors. We haven't seen yet. So yeah, there's a green key. There's a blue key. This is something that's not necessarily constant, but is fairly common within DROD RPG, where the blue keys are used to lock off the exit to the level. So the actual puzzle then becomes collecting enough blue keys throughout the level in order to make progress onto the next one. That's a pretty common pattern. So as you can see here, I am going to need this blue key in order to get out. You can lock any door, which is by default 0. And once you're on a locked door, you can walk on top of it. That is true. Alright, so I think, well, I'm going to need 20 Greckles again. I do need a yellow key. This is the cheapest yellow key, so we'll grab that. So I've locked it. I can now walk on top of the doors, but once I walk off, I can't step on them again. However, that does open everything. Alright, so that blue key has to go here. I really wouldn't spend it unless I was actually going through here, but in this case it doesn't really matter. So I need 13 Greckles, that's 9, and that's 5, so I just have to kill everything, okay? Well, shoot. Thank you for having the autosaves. We're going to score optimize this because that's a fun thing to do with easy holds. So what did I do wrong? I spent the green key on health that I didn't need. That's what I did wrong. I was kind of just on rails because this is a very simple tutorial hold. However, I don't have to do that, because here, as I mentioned previously, a green key is worth 800 health in terms of points. Yellow key is worth 400, so assuming that I don't need health on the next level, then I wouldn't want to spend this. So now this is where you might start doing this, saving keys. You can always save and load. F2 to save. F3 will load. Yep, so I can F2. Well, that was a terrible idea. Yep, so F2 and F3 apparently are hotkeys that do other things on my computer. I don't use the hotkeys very much when I play this game, that's all I'll say. My recording is still working. Yep, I did not mess anything up there. All keyed up. So yeah, you can see my keys here. That should be 100% optimal. Now that I've done that, I could go back. But yeah, so see, now the fact that I've brought the green key from the previous level means I don't need to find a green key on this level. And this is where DROD RPG starts to get a little bit more interesting, when you can do things like this. Bridges will drop when all land that is connected to it orthogonally, not diagonally, is removed. True. Not a whole lot I can do with that fact, but I can grab a yellow key. Since I have a save from the previous level that's the same, I'm just gonna... Yeah. So I think what this is wanting to demonstrate. Yeah. That. So yellow key for green key trade, that is point value, positive. I have to come through here because I can't have an extra blue key, so I have to spend this. So the point is, I could have saved this yellow key instead. So it's really a matter of what choice I want to do here. Yeah, platforms. Let you walk across pit. However, I can't move diagonally. I can't move the platform diagonally here. Even though I could step diagonally, as demonstrated here, the platform itself needs to move orthogonally to get around obstacles. It can only move diagonally in open space. Right. If you have a larger platform, you move the whole thing at once. I'm trying to move diagonally and it won't let me because there's an obstacle. But I can get around it. Skeleton keys treat the mechanics of the game, decide whether to use normal key. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be demonstrated right here, isn't it? Skeleton key can open yellow, green, and blue doors. But I need a blue key to get out. So I can also do that. Send a yellow key. So that saves me 20 points, I think. Because I can use the door walking trick in order to not spend the skeleton key. And obviously I would rather have a skeleton key than a yellow key, so that was optimal there. Tunnels, mini-maps, and secrets. Sure. Tunnels teleport you in the next tunnel in a straight line in the direction they face. There is a secret door I see there, but I can a secret wall. Crumbly wall, even. Secret wall, yep. Intentionally harder to see to hide secrets. Can you find it? I could. Right, this is to demonstrate. Try to walk north, but there's no exit on the tunnel. You can't. And that gets us our yellow key back. Okay. Hidden room. Yeah, so these rooms are just hidden from the map. Grab 2 skeleton keys. So we haven't seen a map though, so I'm not sure. I guess, oh yeah, red scrolls are called mini-maps. I mean, they're just level maps, yeah. Show you all the rooms that are not secret. Yeah. So if I hadn't have found the hidden room, it wouldn't show up, but here it does tell me there is a room there. Maps are a very questionable usefulness, because generally you kind of want to just explore everything. Given the lack of monsters and blue keys in this level, how do you think you will open the doors instead? Okay, well, I have that. And I guess we'll demonstrate that. That's actually good to know. Skeleton keys can open Greckle gates. Structure movement, force arrows. Okay. block movement going in any direction or against the direction they point. Yep, so I can't go backwards. Do not prevent sideways movement. It's true. Worthless squares prevent diagonal movement. If you have an appropriately colored key and a skeleton key at the same time, proper key always gets used first. Yeah, you wouldn't want to waste them. Haven't had a score point in a while. Not that I guess there've really been that many interesting decisions to make, but I did have that one door walking trick I did to save a skeleton key. Shields. Yes. So shields are nice. If you don't have enough health, load a previous save. Yeah, so that is an option. However, I want to kill 3 Wraithwings in order to have enough Greckles to get through there. I definitely don't want to fight the last Wraithwing. How could you not have enough health to get here? I've avoided health. I don't think it's possible to get here without enough health. That was a lot of damage, but I grab the shield. Now, they do 10 less damage per hit because my defense went up by 10. And in the case of roaches, roaches can't actually hurt me. So if I bump them, I can bump them, I can hit them with my sword, doesn't matter. They just don't do damage to me anymore because my defense is too high. Roach queens are tougher than roaches combat-wise and also spawn eggs. Eggs are extremely hard-shelled, cannot be destroyed with your current attack stats. That is true. Alright, so I need to kill 3 Wraithwings, I guess. Okay, I guess I'll demonstrate this. That I attacked, chelated egg on here, blue door bad. I mean, I could still spend a key on that. But my attack is too low. Now, what are the stats on this? 23 defense. Yeah, so I need 24 attack in order to be able to kill the egg. So, obviously, we just take out the queen, prevent that from happening. Queen is 66 damage. That is, I believe, 1,200 is how much this key is worth to me in terms of points. So, from a score optimizing perspective, that was pretty much forced. And then the only Greckles I've left behind are those 2 Wraithwings in the first level. So, Henry the Avenger, 100% optimal. Level training wheels are starting to come off. Good. Start making some interesting decisions. Gonna be a lot more independent. More monsters and attack gems and stuff. Always remember how to save from the beginning of the game. It'll become handy as decisions become harder to make. Red gems are attack time plus, so yeah. Multiplier is 1, so attack 1, defense 1. I can do both of these if I want to. In fact, I'm going to have to. Alright, so when it comes to this kind of a trade-off, first of all, I'll save here because we're probably going to reload after scouting the level. So Roach Queen needs 3 more attack to be cheaper. 1 more attack would make a Wraithwing cheaper. So generally speaking, defense is going to save you more than attack until you hit an attack checkpoint, at which point attack becomes way more valuable than defense. So the other thing is defense will just save me, like this will save me 1 damage from every hit. So it'll save me 2 damage from every Wraithwing fight, 3 damage from every Roach Queen fight. Whereas the Power Gem will save me 18 damage from a Wraithwing, but 0 damage from a Roach Queen. This is where you can start having to make some decisions like that. In this case, Because I hit a checkpoint on the Wraith Wings, I'm actually going to do this one first. And then I'm not going to spend the blue key, because I'm going to explore the rest of the level first and see what I can do. Health is getting really low, though. Yeah, that's fine. We'll grab those. Have enough to get up here. It's useful to remember what you learned about Roach Queens in the previous level to make the correct decision about who to kill in this room. Yes. I am going to need that blue key, no matter what. I could exchange a skeleton key for a blue key, but not much point. I think at this point, I just don't have enough health. So, when did I last make a choice on health? I think it was level 2, wasn't it? No, level 2 I would have taken more damage. Saving keys, right, I had a save point for this. So, I do not have enough health. In this case, obviously the yellow key is the better trade in terms of points. So now I'm 97% optimal, but I'm going to need that going forward. But now I don't have, well, I can get a yellow key, so it's fine. Get the yellow key for free. I have a green key already. So this is demonstrating that you do have to replay stuff in RPG. And I already spent the yellow key. Interesting. So I get a yellow key for a green key here. However, if I had another yellow key, I would actually be able to save the skeleton key. So that tells me I actually want the yellow key in this case is more valuable than the green key because of what it'll let me do on the next level. So now I'm only 91% optimal. But I can still get myself a green key. I could save the skeleton key. And this is just because I didn't have enough health, so I have to... Yes, I can't fast travel through a tunnel. And those 6 Greckles I left behind won't get me through that Greckle gate. Alright. So here... I think we play this out the same. Grab the shield. And we do need to kill this Wraithwing for the money. Don't fast travel in this room. Alright, so 92% optimal, however, I can actually continue from here now. So I'm down a green key, but I can make progress. So we are fighting Wraithwings here, and this gets me more stuff, so I think this This is still going to save me way more. Because getting this attack saves me more on one Wraithwing than the defense gem would have saved me on everything. Which is here. The fact that this Roach Queen spawned there is fine, because we can just go around the egg. Alright, so I would like to get that defense, but because of the Roach Queen, I can't. So now it's a question of whether or not I have to kill that Roach Queen. So I think I probably want all of the defense. If I'm only taking 63 damage... I don't actually remember the ratio of score. But that's a health profit and also defense for one enemy. And if I get that blue key, I don't have to actually fight that Roach Queen. Skeleton key is worth a blue key in terms of points, but it's less versatile. I should have had a save at the start of this level. Oh well. I guess I could save before this point. Blue or skeleton. So we'll spend the skeleton key on that. I could actually just go on to the next level from here. I'm assuming I can't backtrack. Correct. Okay. So we'll grab that defense. Technically I didn't need to do that because I could have just taken the same arrows, but the defense is worth points to me, and more importantly, that gets me enough money to just grab this without having to fight that Roach Queen. This is definitely going to be score positive. So I'm leaving behind 6 Greckles. No, I can only take this path once. Okay. In that case, the score optimizing thing to do, I think, is just to kill this. Oh, she was on a potion. That's a pet peeve of mine. Why? Why would he do that? Well, that is obviously the score maximizing solution here. And then I've just left behind a defense I can't ever get. But yeah, 100% optimal. Okay. Bombs and fuses, huh? Multiplier is ×2. This does not affect monster stats, but it does affect gems and stuff. So given that these are an attack gem either way, I can kill Roach Eggs now. There's no reason to kill that one first. I might as well kill this one first, make progress down, and then yeah, start making decisions from there. So 100 health or 2 attack. Well, 2 attack is better. I need 7 attack for that. Also, I can just check there if I wanted to. Let's explore as much as we can, though, before we go forward. Stepping on a bomb fuse, the end of a bomb fuse. We'll light it. And yeah, wait. Doesn't do a whole lot in DROD RPG generally, but it does have some uses. Okay, this just shows how sparks spread out, sure, and then the bomb lit a bunch more fuse. Dropping trapdoors will cause fuse to break, sure. And I don't want to open this. So there's 2 ways I could have solved this room, probably, or is this a close? It's a close, okay. If this was a toggle, the other thing could have been to let it go off and then drop both trapdoors. Locking doors on fuses will cut them short as well. okay, but there's not really any reason to demonstrate that, because once I'm through here, I'm just going to want that key. So yeah, I can close... I mean, I can... Yeah, I can cut the fuse by closing a door on it. I cannot get past this golem because it has 68 defense. I do not have 69 attack. I'll just blow it up and then not get the Greckles. Sure. Alright, so explosions will kill me, that is true, 100% of my health. Bombs do not actually need fuses to make them explode. Yep, hitting it with your sword is bad news. Yeah, most monsters are going to be... Monsters in this game tend to just sit in one spot and just have different stats. So if I fight this... I need to kill it in order to get through the trapdoor. And this is what I was doing. I was just exploring the level before making any decisions up here. I think it's pretty clear that I just want the stats. Generally speaking, yeah, so 2 attack, save me 28 health here. But generally speaking, if you can afford not to take health, it's better to take the other thing that's in the trade. So you need 7 more attack, I'm not getting that, so let's grab this. You guys need 12 more attack, I'm not getting that, but I will do this. That's going to lock me out of the other choice, which is fine. I could click on the minimap if I wanted to right-click on the minimap in order to remove it, or to give it a custom color. I don't tend to do that, but I guess in this case I might as well, because there's no way I'm ever getting that item. Behind a door. I'm going to grab the key for points. Also, fun fact, the fuse doesn't actually burn until you're in the room. It doesn't even show it as burning here, but if I go back in here, yeah, you can see it's burning. Doesn't matter how many moves I make over here. This fuse doesn't burn until I'm in the room. You can do some puzzles, like you can do some environmental feature puzzles instead of just having monster puzzles where you're comparing stats. You can do stuff like that, or with dropping trapdoors. Alright, so we saved some health. Still have enough to go forward. 100% optimal. I do have 200 health on that previous level if I do need it. Okay, mirrors, harder levels, harder monsters. Mud, okay, you're on a gem. You're on a gem. So yeah, 2 attack doesn't get me a shorter checkpoint on any of these, so that 2 defense seems like the better choice early on, especially since it's not that expensive to get. Mirrors break when stabbing directly. Yeah, I could stab it. But I can also just not stab it and save myself a mirror in case it comes in handy later, which it almost certainly will not. You can push mirrors by bumping into them. There we go. Do you require a mirror? Or a toggle? Yeah. So I can break this, but I can also demonstrate that you can push it into a pit. Sure, grab the health. As usual, I'm not collecting anything until I've explored as much as I can. Mud acts like walls, in part because, you know, there are things I can be getting here that will give me points. Give me more health and stuff before, like if I get that shield gem before fighting those other enemies, I take less damage. Alright, so mud kind of works the same as in regular DROD. You can only cut the corners, you can't cut the flat edges. And you can leave a mud baby behind if it doesn't have a 2x2 stable. So this was a 2x2 chunk, I took out a chunk, this no longer is part of 2x2, which gives me a mud baby. Now, an interesting consequence of this in DROD RPG, this thing's worth 8 Greckles. Now, it's way more damage than I want to take, so I'm not going to fight them. But I could get a ton of Greckles by carving out all of the mud. However, we're just going to sidestep the enemy and grab these for free. This one will never be free because of how the architecture is set up, sure. I guess that doesn't really matter, but we got the stats though, which matters more than the health. Black doors open when all mud in the room is cleared, but they don't care about mud babies. Yes, so I have to cut here. Let's do that so that I have a path through without fighting. Mud mothers make the mud behave like a monster when you stab it on the cuttable parts. Yeah, so there I take no damage, but here I have to fight the mud mother. You can always go to other rooms, including later ones on the level you haven't visited yet. It recommends I come back later. I tend to agree. Oh yeah, +1 attack. Mud mothers... Yeah, you're going to want to definitely have more stats. Also, every bit of mud is worth 12 Greckles, so I think at this point in the hold, I'm not going to care about money anymore unless there's a massive line of Greckle doors at some point. Alright, different types of swords. That was +20 attack, just forgetting there. Now, the short sword is metal. There's a scripted inventory here. Okay. So this is just letting me take both swords with me if I so desire. Which I do. Because the short sword is metal, wooden blade is not. That might be meaningful later. There are some environments in which you cannot use... Oh hey, look, ore mites. Yes. You see, my short sword is disabled. I no longer have the attack bonus from it. These spiders hurt a whole lot, because not only do I not have my damage from the sword, but also I don't have a weapon at all, so they're going to hit me first if I bump them. So wooden blade is far more important here. Also, it turns out I am going to need some Greckles to get through here. But at this point... 22 attack. Okay, well, now that we have so much more attack... let's go back here. Are you guys free? No. But... Spider is only 26 and it's on a defense gem. Are you on something? You're on health. Okay. One hit. One hit. Spider is one hit. Okay. So I don't think it matters. +6. Can I get +6 here? Spider has one. You have one. I don't think so. I think that's it. Unless I did that. So if I get the +6, Roach Queens become free. So this actually tells me spiders are not going to get cheaper. So the optimal thing to do at this point is to kill all the spiders that have defense. Yes. But I don't think it's worth fighting the Roach Queen. Well, 14. I save 14 by getting her for free. But she gives me 2 defense, which is 7 hits. 1. So it's 2. Basically, okay. If I can get in here in fewer than 7 hits, or fewer than 5 hits, then it's worth doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 2, 3. Is that right? Yeah, I'm only getting hit once each time. Now, this trade-off means I'm not getting the Greckles from that. But I will have enough to get through here. So if I assume that money is not important, I think that was optimal. Because now, if I do all of the attack, yeah, Roach Queen costs 14, but now she's free. Mud babies are getting cheaper. That's definitely a profit. As is that. However, that profit is just health. So these are about as cheap as they're gonna get. Okay, so I do need Greckles still. Greckles aren't worth points, though. So now it's a matter of... Well, I probably still want to farm the mother, honestly. Okay, you know what? So I just need... My only targets remaining are mud babies. And I need 60 Greckles. Alright. That's the minimum amount. So now... I'm not 100% optimal. That means I should have killed the Mud Mother more. I think that at this point, I don't really want to... Like, I'm coming up on an hour. So if I wanted to continue playing this, I could... Basically what that's telling me is I could get to the next level with a little bit more health if I had spent time killing the Mud Mother earlier. Oh. We're gonna get another wooden blade for some reason. Even though we have an inventory. Alright. So yeah, so this is demonstrating that if you step in front of an eye, it hits you even if you don't fight it. But anyway, I think that was enough of a test of intelligence. So that's kind of what this hold's about. I'm going to be moving on to another RPG hold. I will see you then.